Look, I'm gonna be totally honest, I don't have a great reason to draw Charizard and Spider-Man together, just like I didn't have a great reason to draw Disney princesses as kaijus, or the Gen 8 starter Pokemon as creepy versions of themselves. Sometimes I just get an idea for something I want to draw and I go, ooh, that's cool, I'm gonna draw it and make an episode out of it. And that's what we're doing today, drawing the Detective Pikachu inspired Charizard with Spider-Man from... I haven't actually decided which suit yet. I'll decide as I'm going. Probably the Far From Home... Ooh, probably gonna do the Far From Home suit. I'm Christian Pearson of Popcross Studios, home of the nerdiest art videos on YouTube, and let's get into the thumbnail sketches. I originally thought that I wanted to have this piece sort of on a platform, as I've been doing with some of my other pieces lately, and I started roughing out an idea for that, but then on a whim I roughed out an idea of Charizard flying and Spider-Man swinging next to its wing, and I was just like, ooh, I really like that. So I tried one other version of them on a platform together, Spider-Man kind of jumping up, being framed a little bit by Charizard's wing, and I liked that one, but Spider-Man's pose felt kind of random and like, what's he doing there? So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try another of Charizard flying and Spider-Man swinging along next to him, and I liked that way better than anything else I was coming up with. So I had to kind of reframe my mind around what this piece was gonna look like. I think I'm probably gonna go with a cloudy sort of background, just like a basic background with clouds kind of framing them a little bit, but I really like how this is starting out. Now you'll notice with this one, I drew Charizard and Spider-Man's ruffs on different layers, and this is because I really liked in that Avengers piece I did last week, how I drew all of the characters in separate folders so that I could move them around, and it just made everything easier, and it made it so that if I made any slight composition errors, I could kind of move the characters a bit and fix it up, and I thought it was really helpful, so I decided to do that again in this stage, even as far back as into the ruffs. I drew the ruffs on different layers, then I did the ruff for Spider-Man, and now I turned him off, made him invisible, and you can see I'm doing the more detailed ruffs for Charizard, and it just makes I was gonna say it makes everything easier. It does actually make it a little bit more time consuming, because you have to render out some parts of the character that are gonna be left invisible, that people won't see, but it just makes it really convenient for doing last minute tweaks. Like if your composition, you feel like you messed anything up a little bit, that you wanted a character a bit bigger or something, it's just really helpful being able to change it around a little bit. So anyway, here's the finished ruffs of Spider-Man and Charizard. Look, I tend to be pretty fond of the art I make on this channel, but I am really excited about this one. I can't express how much I like these two characters. I love the poses of both of them right now. Let's get into the inking, because I'm excited to see how this is going to turn out. So I did the full round of doing Spider-Man's character first, because I'm doing them in separate folders, and then I'll make him invisible and do Charizard afterwards. And for this one you saw, I kind of messed around with some different ink brushes right at the start. I ended up going with the usual one, just the kind of generic one. But I did try to play a little bit more with my line weights in this, and I wanted to do a bit more in the coloring than in the inking, and I really like how this one ends up turning out. It feels like I was focused, and maybe it's just because Spider-Man's probably the character I've drawn most in my life, but I feel like I did a really good job with this one. I like all the parts where there's sort of lining on his suit where I just went full black with it, and everything about this one, I really like how it's turning out. I also, in general, just love the Far From Home suit. I think it's such an awesome looking costume. It's classic Spider-Man, but with enough variation to make it new and interesting and flashy, and it's just, I'm so excited for that movie. It's gonna be so awesome, hopefully. I mean, I'm a big fan of Jake Gyllenhaal as well, so seeing him as Mysterio is just... I'm so excited for that. Drawing Spider-Man is so awesome. I know I've ranted about that before, how he has so many awesome poses you can draw him in, but it's just a blast. Also, I did end up playing around with some different brushes in my coloring to use like something with a little bit more variation in terms of its depth to make this feel a little bit rougher. Like not rough, but a little bit rougher. Just give the coloring a little bit more texture. Anyway, here's what we've got for Spider-Man.
And now let's move on to Charizard. Now for this one, I had to do things a little bit differently because Charizard, he's really kind of just a big glob of orange in terms of color. Like he does have some other colors. Obviously his wings are a bit of a blue, sort of a teal blue that I really like. It's a really nice color. And then his stomach gets a little bit more white-ish, but really he's one very continuous color for the most part. So a lot of the texturing work had to be done with the lines and shadowing, and kind of more layers of shadowing had to be done to make him look more detailed. Because whereas with a character like Spider-Man, there's a lot of details built into his suit. You've got the webbing, you've got the different elements around the knees and elbows, the eyes. It's just, there's a lot of more built-in details that are, I don't know how to phrase it. It's like the costume details, you know? Whereas with Charizard, it's all a little bit more just textures of skin. And I looked at a lot of reference images from the movie, from trailers, and then I also have the Detective Pikachu trading card of Charizard that I was referencing a little bit. And I just can't get over how much I love the Pokemon designs from the Detective Pikachu trailer. They just look so cool. Every time they show us a new one in a new trailer, I'm just like, oh, these look so amazing. Like, that is how you translate a cartoon into live action. You just take the actual silhouette cartoon design and just add texture to it. It just works so well. I love it. I mean, I know there are people that don't like it, and I can understand why you might not, but I personally just think they look so cool, and especially Charizard. When I saw him in that first trailer, I was just like, oh my god, that is a real live-action Charizard. Anyway, in terms of the drawing here, you can see I messed around with what to do with the background a little bit. I didn't want to do a full rendered background. I thought about doing maybe clouds, but in the end I ended up just adding like a blue comic streak background kind of thing that had to be blue. I knew it was going to be blue going in because these two characters contrast really well against the blue background. Anyway, let's take our final look of this team up of Spider-Man and Charizard.
You know, this is one of those art pieces that I wish I could take back in time and give to young me, because young me would lose his mind to get an awesome piece of artwork of Charizard and Spider-Man. And I'm really happy with how this turned out, because it just feels very much like a me kind of artwork. It's very much my style. It's a dragon and a superhero and two of my favorite characters from two franchises that... yeah, I like how this episode turned out. Alright everybody, if you enjoyed this, please leave a like and share this with anyone that you think might be interested in it, and go check out some of my other videos if you thought this was fun. And of course, to everyone going to see them, enjoy Avengers Endgame and enjoy Detective Pikachu. I know I will. Well, I mean, I hope I will. I guess I don't know. You know what I mean. Anyway, I will see you all later. Goodbye.